All that time you spent wasted on crying over someone that ghosted you or crying over someone that cheated on you, all that time you spent crying, you could have turned it on yourself and become someone that they could even touch in a year if they wanted to. It's now like you almost have superpowers, and a lot of people don't learn this skill. But now you have the opportunity to. This is to open the door to your self-discovery. When I think about solitude, I really have come to terms with peace. Learning things that you don't like is also just as important as learning the things that you do like. The power within you is actually so strong, but it's actually important to realize that you have actually been gifted with the chance to Hello, hi everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Bentina, and today's episode we are talking about the power of being alone. And when I mean alone, single. You are not talking to anyone. You're not doing anything. You are simply alone. This is your chapter of being in solitude. But I'm here to talk about why this chapter of being alone is actually the greatest thing that could ever happen to you, and why and how you should use this to your advantage. I know a lot of people get discouraged when it comes to relationships because they want to be married, they want to start a family, they want that picture perfect fairy tale lifestyle, but they can't seem to get it. But I want to turn your perspective around with this topic and talk about how this season or chapter of solitude is actually a sign that you are actually a chosen one. And this is actually the key to your success. Okay, I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm just single. Like, yes, you're single. Yes, you've been trying. Yes, you've just been in back-to-back failed relationships, whatever your case may be. But it's actually important to realize that you have actually been gifted with the chance to elevate yourself in this season of singleness. Now, when you're in a relationship, it's hard to focus completely on yourself because you are in a partnership. You are now in union with someone. So therefore, you don't have the capacity as a human being to give your entire focus onto yourself. So now that you are single, this is your time. And those that are in relationships can't do this. So this is actually an advantage to your life. So being single is not something you should look at as a disappointment or a failure. Being single is actually something you should be happy about. So I'm going to dive deeper into this topic. I hope you guys enjoy this podcast episode. And thank you so much for listening to the last episode. I read all the comments and I am so happy that you guys enjoyed what I had to say for that episode. But let me stop talking and let me get into why you clicked on this video. The power of being alone. So I want you to sit right now and just embrace your solitude if you haven't already. I want you to really embrace where you are in this very moment. You need to understand that this moment is actually a very, very precious moment in your life. This is to open the door to your self-discovery. So instead of seeing your solitude as a moment of loneliness, I want you to embrace this time where you can solely focus on yourself. This is like your sacred space and moment of time where you can just reflect and grow. This is the time where you can indulge in yourself and really, really just embrace everything about you. Really learn who you are. I like to embrace solitude as a gift. This period of time is a gift that is given to you to really embrace who you are. This is your chance to really rediscover yourself or maybe reinvent yourself if you've been wanting to do that. When we are in our single season, we're quick to forget how lucky we are to be in certain situations in our life where we are living someone else's dream. Someone could possibly have everything that you want, but they also want what you have, which is to be single, to be not needed by anyone. And right now, you are not needed by anyone. This moment, you are not needed by anyone. Do you know how lucky you are to not have people needing you 24/7? Do you know how lucky you are to have the chance to really focus completely on yourself? Do you not know how lucky you are to come home to an empty house? You are not coming to a lonely house. You're coming to a peaceful house. As people, we should learn to change our perspective with certain things. When we think the grass is always greener on the other side, it usually isn't. When we think that we want this thing, we usually don't need it or we're not ready for it. When I think about solitude, I really have come to terms with peace. Solitude to me equals peace. And if you're one of those people that are craving like a partnership, a family, everything, I get it. I understand. But you need to also understand that this time in your life is so short and it's so precious. When you're in your single season, this is your season to really charge yourself, to really sit down with yourself, know who you are inside and out, and really embrace who you are. A lot of us aren't lucky enough to really understand and get comfortable with being ourselves and understand how special we are and understand how much importance we hold in our lives and other people's lives as well. When we jump into things that we think that we want, we tend to forget our end goal or our mission. We tend to forget our overall mission. And when we forget our overall mission, we also forget parts of ourselves. We also forget where we came from, what made us who we are. We turn into who we're with. We turn into our environment. This can either be positive or negative. We need to see the season of being in solitude as being chosen to really learn our powers. If that sounds silly to you, let it sound silly to you. But if those who understand what I'm saying, you understand exactly what I mean. You're just gaining your ultimate self. You're gaining your powers. You're gaining your personality. You are discovering your true self. This moment of time is like the perfect opportunity to dive into your interests. Learn what makes you happy. Learn what makes you feel alive and learn what makes you feel like you are on top of the world. Learn the things that you don't like also. Learning things that you don't like is also just as important as learning the things that you do like. Because once we develop the things that we don't like, we are better in a relationship to learn our red flags, to learn our triggers, to learn things that we can't live with. And when you jump into a relationship, you don't understand these things until you live in them. But when you are in solitude, you're able to understand these things without involving another person. You're able to understand these things on your own. You don't need to involve other energies into your space. Overall, you start to become more self-aware. You start to notice things around you that don't seem right. You start to notice things that do align with you and things that don't align with you. This is also called learning discernment. So while you're on this journey of discovering your true self, I want you to also pick up journaling if you haven't already. Journaling is, I would say, my favorite thing that I've ever done and discovered. But I know a lot of people have different methods of journaling. Some people like to put it in their phone. Some people like to do whatever. As long as you have some type of journal or some type of way to note down your experiences and your thoughts, this is a way for you to really see your progress when you look back on certain days or months or years. I started journaling about a year ago, but if I didn't start a year ago, my life would have just seemed like a blur. Now I can actually see in real time what exactly happened, how I was feeling, and how different I am right now. Keeping a journal is so personal, and I recommend it to a lot of women and people in general because you really get to see your growth as a human being. I definitely recommend journaling for those who are in their solitude era because when you are journaling, you get to see your growth and you get to see how much things have changed or haven't changed, depending on how you live your life. Regardless, I'm sure that this will be an eye-opener for you, and it can kind of force you to change things that you don't like about yourself. So let's talk about the power of being independent and why being independent is crucial for your growth. When you learn how to be independent, you learn how to take care of yourself regardless of who's there and who's not. I think everyone should learn how to be independent because you can't always rely on people. People are very unpredictable. And in the process of learning how to be independent, you start to realize how strong you are on your own. And some might think this is a toxic way of thinking, but I think it's just a realistic way of thinking. I don't think anything is bad with being independent. You can be independent while being in a relationship. You can be independent while being alone. Being an independent person is crucial for your success. Being independent is crucial for you to stay alive. You need to know how to protect yourself. You need to learn how to do things for yourself, and you need to learn how to keep yourself up. You can't always depend on people. So in this chapter of solitude, I want you to learn how to be independent. So in this chapter of solitude, the power of independence is very important to your overall growth. And then let's talk about the confidence that we get once we learn how to be independent. The confidence that you get when you learn how to be independent is unmatched. It's almost like no one can even touch you. No one can even get close to you because you're so self-sufficient. See, the confidence that you build in this chapter is crazy. You start to learn that you are so powerful. You learn that you're so strong mentally and physically that you can almost do anything in this world. You learn to become so trusting within yourself that you are almost unstoppable. See, you're so highly favored that God or the universe, whatever you believe in, has chosen you to become this ultimate version of yourself so that you are so powerful enough that you don't even need anyone. He's chosen you to do this. He's chosen you to become this ultimate person. The power within you is actually so strong. You didn't know you had it until this very moment. You didn't know you had it until you realized that, hey, I've actually been set apart from everyone because I can't be with just anyone. I can't be with just anyone because not everyone is going to understand me or be on my level spiritually. It's not, this is not about looks. This is not about how you look on the exterior. This is about how you think. This is about how you communicate with people. This is how you live your life. If you understand what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying. You are set apart from everyone because you are so different. You're so different. This is not a sad chapter in any shape or form. This is the best chapter you've ever been in. This is the chapter that you've been waiting on, actually. See, you've been wasting your time so much on wanting to be in a relationship and being jealous of other people or being envious of other people's relationships. Whereas all that time you spent, you could have just turned it onto yourself and elevated to your highest, most powerful being. All that time you spent wasted on crying over someone that ghosted you or crying over someone that cheated on you or crying over someone, whatever the situation is. All that time you spent crying, you could have turned it on yourself and become someone that they could even touch in a year if they wanted to. See, now this is the time that you can turn everything around. The ball is in your court, actually. You were chosen for something way bigger. So God or the universe made sure that thing that you wanted didn't work out. He knew you were meant for something bigger. So he made sure whatever you wanted, whatever little thing that you thought you wanted wasn't going to work out. He made sure of it. I want you guys to really see the bigger picture right now. In this time of solitude, this is the time for you to really learn what you like and what you don't like. This is the time for you to journal. This is the time for you to get into the gym, maybe change your exterior if you want to. Maybe elevate yourself in some way. It doesn't have to be exterior. It can be mentally. It can be you reading more books. It can be you taking yourself out on a trip to see the world. This is the chance for you to really understand yourself inside and out. A lot of people don't get this chance to really learn who they are because they are so caught up in being in a relationship. So think of it as this. You are actually very, very lucky. You are so much more advanced than most people because you have the chance to do all these things that these people don't have the chance to do. And see, once you get to the point where you now understand who you are, learn this ultimate skill of discernment and how to tell whether a person is good or bad like that. You can tell now within a day, a week, because you're so much more advanced than other people. You can see right through someone immediately. It's almost scary now how fast you can tell when someone is not in your best interest. It's now like you almost have superpowers. You just have a higher sense of self. You have a higher sense of who people are. And a lot of people don't learn this skill, but now you have the opportunity to. So I'm going to remind you again, this chapter is merely not a chapter of loneliness. This chapter is all about you learning how to become the best version of yourself. This chapter is simply just the moment where you are allowed to learn everything about yourself and learn how to utilize your powers, what I would like to call them powers, and get the ultimate partner that you deserve in the end. See, the way life works, you really do get what you want in the end, but you have to learn all good things don't come easy. All good things don't come easy. For some, they do, but for the majority, they don't. All good things take time. It might take a couple months, it might take a couple years, it might take however long it takes, depending on your timeline. And for those that want to speed up this process of becoming your ultimate self, you have to do the work. Once you do the work that you are set out to do on your journey, the journey of solitude, you are then rewarded with everything you want. It doesn't even have to be a relationship. It can be the job you want. It can be the life you want, the lifestyle, whatever you want. It can all happen for you once you trust the process and once you continue on and do the work. And be happy that you are in this chapter of solitude, because some people get stuck in a cycle where they are unable to get out of because they are in a marriage or they're in a relationship. Whatever the case may be happy that you are now in this chapter of solitude because you're able to do whatever you want. You're able to do whatever you want. You don't have to worry about answering to anyone. You can literally do whatever you want. Remember that. You can literally do whatever you want right now. If you wanted to right now, you could literally turn off the TV, pack a bag, go on a hike, go to the beach, whatever you want to do. You can do that right now because you're in solitude. You don't answer to anyone but yourself and the universe. The main message is you don't have to answer to anyone right now but yourself. So do what you want to do. Become that person you want to be, because now is the time. Now is the time. Most people spend the rest of their lives in a relationship. This is the moment where you are given unlimited amounts of free time to do whatever you want and whatever your heart desires. I really can't express enough how delicate this time is and how precious this time is. Because once a lot of people, once you're in a relationship, you are locked in that relationship. And it's not like I'm saying you're trapped or you're whatever, locked down, but you can never really go back to who you were 100% before you were in that relationship. So I really want to emphasize this point in your life where you are alone, single, whatever. And I want you to change your perspective into a positive one and into an optimistic one. Like, the world is your oyster right now. You can really do anything you want. Anything. Just remember that you can do anything you want right now. Why spend the last moments of your singleness upset in a negative state of mind, where instead you can just enjoy this moment to its fullest capacity? You can really do whatever you want. I'm going to repeat that until you understand that this is your world. This is your time, and you have no one to make you feel bad about it. If you wanted to, you could go ghost for 6 months. Who cares? If you wanted to completely change yourself, you can. Who's going to judge you? No one, because you're in solitude. So in this next chapter, I want you to prepare. Not only is this your chapter of solitude, this is your chapter of preparation. Preparation for the rest of your life. This is the time when you can completely set yourself up for greatness. This is the time where you can completely shut off the world and focus entirely on yourself and your goals. How do you want to see your life in the next 5 years? This is the chance now to prepare your life for the next 5 years and forever if you just sit down with yourself and work on yourself. I want you to visualize yourself in the future. What do you want? What do you want it to look like? What do you want your husband or wife to be like? What kind of house do you see yourself in? What kind of car do you see yourself driving? What do you see for yourself in your life? Set your intentions and manifest your life into exactly what you want. I love a good vision board. I think vision boards are great. They really let you see, especially if you're a visual person, I think vision boards are great. Let me know if you guys want to hear or see about manifesting, because I definitely love talking about it. So let me know down below. But back to what I was saying, the overall message that I want to give out for this topic is that this is the season where you get to have the chance to get ahead of people. You have the chance to really learn who you are, learn your skills, develop your skills, and excel in life. This is the cheat code to being the best in life. When you have that chapter of solitude, when you have no distractions, no one calling you, no one waiting for you, no one judging you, no one expecting things out of you, this is your chance to really put all your focus onto yourself. So don't think of this season as a negative one. Think of this season as a positive one, and one that is necessary for you to be successful in life. So that brings us to the end of today's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and listen to the podcast on Apple Podcast and Spotify. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.